Hey guys, right now, I'm about to go see San Andreas. As you can tell, I have a new haircut. That's pretty awesome. I keep the mustache because that's just how I am. So, here we are. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm with my friend Eric. We're gonna watch the movie, and if he can join us, we'll see. But essentially, I'm gonna do a vlog where I essentially review the film. Right now I'm here, but I'll be recording my review at home. All right, I'm about to see the movie. Before we go in, this is Eric. Say hi to the army.
Hey.
All right, now we're gonna go see it. Wish us luck. Hey guys, Hardcore Champion here, and I just got back from seeing San Andreas. Now Eric's not with me though this time. He went home. We didn't get to hear his stuff, but essentially he liked the film, and as for my opinion, I liked it. I didn't think it was great, but I think it for what it was, I think for what it wanted to do, I think it accomplished it well. Let's talk about it. San Andreas is essentially a movie where, oh, by the way, I'm going to try and not spoil anything. So, but just in case, if you have not seen the movie yet, let me give you the spoiler-free opinion right now. Like I said, I think it's good. I think the acting's pretty good. The special effects are pretty good. And there are a few things here and there with the story, or sometimes with one of the plots that seem to go a little bit underwhelmed by anything. But my recommendation is, if you like this movie, or I was thinking, like, if you like those disaster films, then you'll like this movie. If you don't, then you might not like it. So that's the spoiler-free opinion. Let's get to the spoiler part. Okay, so it stars Dwayne Johnson, who you might know as The Rock, and essentially he plays a one of those not Air Force, those helicopter rescue type of people, and essentially he does that, and essentially there's a bunch of earthquakes hitting the areas of Los Angeles on the San Andreas. I just forgot the name of the title. So, San Andreas. The San Andreas fault line is what's causing essentially a huge shift with the Los Angeles and all around the west coast of California. Now, something I noticed when I watched the trailers for this movie is that it resembles very strongly to 2012, which I was actually really surprised to see that Roland Emmerich was not the director of this movie, because it has several Roland Emmerich traits in it, like, for one, the world blowing up. However, there was no White House blowing up. And 2 points if you get that reference. By the way, if you don't know who Roland Emmerich is, he's a very famous for disaster films such as, like I said, 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day, which is his most famous one, 2000 BC, White House Down, and the infamous 1998 Godzilla movie. So yeah, he has not a very good record, but I can't really talk about his record here because he's not involved with the movie. And like I said, I'm very surprised about that. So, let's talk about some of the good stuff first. Dwayne Johnson was really good. I mean, he always does good as like an action star. And he did pretty good. He can do drama good. I don't think he can do drama to the point of winning an Oscar good, but I think for what he can do good. And I'd expect good acting from essentially a wrestler, because, you know, they are trained to act in the ring, so I hope that they can act well on screen. So that's one thing. Another thing, I like the special effects, that it was very grand, very big, and you could definitely feel like the impact of each scene coming down. And let me tell you, there are some intense moments in this film. Like, if you know anybody, especially considering the floods that have been going on around this time, if you know anybody who was once killed or injured in a disaster, then let's just say this movie is going to be a little hard for you to watch because there are several scenes of people falling off of buildings and dying and stuff like that, and people possibly drowning, and indications that some people might be dead, and all sorts of little things like that. So that's that opinion there. And now let's talk about the bad, real quick. One of the worst things I found was not only the main thing I found bad is that for two things. One, there's the side plot of essentially Dwayne's wife. They try to get divorced, but they don't get divorced, and Dwayne's character's ex-wife at the point essentially tries to hooks up with this other guy. I don't know the actor, but I do know I think, if I'm correct, the actor who plays Dwayne's ex-wife's boyfriend is the same guy who played Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four films, like the one with Jessica Alba in it, that Fantastic Four film. I do know that, and he's essentially played off to be a straw man, because like you see him and you see that he's somewhat a nice guy, but then as the movie sort of progresses and we don't even get a lot of screen time with him, essentially he basically leaves Dwayne's daughter. I believe her character's name was Blake, I think. Yeah, Blake. And essentially she leaves Blake out essentially to die, like in the car when she gets stuck in between the earthquake. I mean, I don't think he does it intentionally, but it doesn't really explain that too well there. And like, they're very blatant about how he's very just there to be wrong about everything. And he eventually does get killed off in the end, and kind of a very brutal looking way. It's the type of brutal that you could feel it, but you don't see it type of way. And he doesn't even, and that's another thing about how this movie can somewhat rip off 2012. It stars a man who is divorced, and essentially that divorced wife has a new boyfriend, and the boyfriend gets killed off. Like, I could realize that. I mean, I've never seen the whole movie of 2012, but I do know that's a part that comes on. And I'm pretty sure there are several other plot points that may have been taken. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I'm not sure. But, what else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, the intenseness. Like I said, the scenes can get very intense. Like, you will see, like, giant skyscrapers crumbling and falling on the ground, and giant floods and all that stuff. It makes, I swear to God, the flood scenes in this movie make us look like we're in a drought. That is how extremely powerful it can be. So, that's what I want to say about that. I definitely don't like disaster movies because I never know. I usually, the way I think about it, I usually like disaster movies if I see them on a second try. Because when I see them on a first try, I always get this unpleasant feeling about what's going to happen and all that stuff. But if I were to watch it like on a second try, though, I don't think I would feel that uncomfortableness to me. So, my recommendation is to see San Andreas. If you like disaster films, especially if you like 2012, you'll like this movie. Will you love the whole film? Not really. You probably might like Dwayne's performance and some of the others, depending on your taste. This is definitely not like a Guardians of the Galaxy or anything from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's essentially a fun-ish type of action film, and it's also not like what DC's trying to do nowadays is gritty and dark. It's not like that. It's sort of in between. So that's all I can say about that. And before we wrap up this vlog, I want to talk about my short film. I have half the footage done. Now, I'm not going to give out a release date yet, but I'm going to try to do some more filming Sunday, because I'm busy Saturday. I'm going to do footage Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm going to try to do all that. And as for the editing portion, I'll see what I can do. I want to say it's going to be somewhere around June. This June. Hopefully I can do that. And that is all I want to say. I'm sorry if I dozed off a little bit here and there. That's pretty much it. Hardcore Champion signing out. Have a good summer, guys.